Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fun Speculation. Thanks for tuning into this impromptu Sunday night stream. I've done this a few times over the last couple months, and I have fun doing it. Kind of a little solo stream here, just chit chatting, talking Xbox, talking gaming, and all this kind of stuff. And that's what we're doing tonight: is having pure fun speculation what this channel's all about. And there's been a lot of ABK dominance in the gaming news cycle for a year, over a year now, and I feel like that's probably not going to change for honestly for a long time. Even after the ABK deal closes, there's still going to be so much happening because of that ABK deal that it's going to still dominate. Like what games are going into Game Pass? When are they hitting Game Pass? What games are going to potentially go into the backwards compatibility program? What games maybe get updates on? With all these kind of things. But there's been so much random stuff happening the last couple days besides the ABK thing. And I feel like it's starting to add up to where I had this feeling last year. And right after that, there was like a flurry of announcements. And I'm not saying I'm like, I definitely don't know anything whatsoever, but it's just like this. Sometimes you get this gut feeling. You can smell it in the air, right? And last year turned out to be there was quite a bit of stuff, right? That had just been a flurry of news that week. That I started making those posts about, hey, something smells like something's happening out there. Starting to get that feeling again right now. I don't know if it's because of the time of year it is. I mean, it's late March. We're going into April. That leaves not too much time between now and E3. I feel like there's some things that may happen before E3 time that they may need to make some announcements for. And what better time to do that than this coming week towards the end of March, especially after the positive momentum that they've been having lately with ABK. There's been little things that we'll get into what's happened today. Some of the tweets I saw, some of the other things that are making me kind of add up to this thought process, and maybe we'll start thinking about what could it be, right? What could possibly be happening? But before we get into all of that stuff, I want to thank the chat for being here. I already see lots of amazing people here hanging out. See some familiar faces already. Calorie's there hanging out in the chat. He says, "Whoa, impromptu live stream from the King Map himself. Let's go." I don't know about King, but I appreciate you, Calorie. Acute Perspective, how's it going? Phasma, how are you, Faz? RSJ fan says, "Hey, Mav. Hey, how you doing, RSJ?" Ray Oid, what up? John Wolf, how's it going? John Wolf says, "Mav, can you smell what the Mav is cooking?" Yeah, guys, I'm just telling you, you know what I mean? I'm not like a Nostradamus or anything, but sometimes you get this gut feeling and you feel like something's gonna happen. I could be completely wrong. I'm putting this out there. To anybody watching live or later, this is all speculation. There's no information that I have. There's nothing like that. I'm not claiming to know things. I'm not that person. I don't get that kind of stuff, right? But sometimes intuition can take into effect, and maybe it's the wrong intuition. Maybe I'm lying to myself in my brain, you know? But I will say that we've been right more than we've been wrong on this channel at times before. So maybe something's going on. What's up, Nighturnal? How you doing? What's up, Def Leopard, RWK88? Raid, how's it going, Raid? Ardhi M, how's it going, Ardhi? K Asante, what's up, K? How you doing, man? The Sousa says, "Did Vince McMahon buy Xbox?" God, I hope not. I don't think Vince can afford it, but maybe he could. I don't know. Anyway, that's not it. By the way, there was the funniest tweet I saw today. This was probably edited, but Zachary Levi is like desperate. DC, please see Shazam 2. I retweeted it on Twitter. You guys got to check out. This is one of the funniest things I've seen. Saying, "Please don't see John Wick 4. Please see Shazam." Sup to NC Ghost of Low Road. What up? How's it going? Ooh, David Weinhold says WWE is for sale. Microsoft should acquire it. Imagine the marketing and cross promotion opportunities. WWE games exclusive to Xbox worldwide appeal. Microsoft brands gets Microsoft a popular streaming app. It's an interesting thought process. Buying a wrestling organization. You're enjoying the surprise streams, RSJ. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you all for being here. If you do like the content here on Fun Speculation, hit the like button, share it out, subscribe to the channel, all that kind of cool, fun stuff that helps us grow. Again, I want to say thanks to everybody who has been tuning into our content over the last 2 years and has now helped us get to 3K on a channel that pretty much is mostly live stuff. You know, that's big to have you guys show up and show out each and every week for all of our shows and live streams and stuff that we do here. Wanted to grow as a small but organic community that kind of grew over time, and that's exactly what we've been doing. So it's because of y'all. Appreciate it. Ghostfixter said John Wick 4 was amazing, and IMAX loved it. I haven't had a chance to see it. I haven't had a chance to go to the movies lately. I want to see. I still like behind on stuff. I need to see Ant-Man, which has some mixed reviews. I need to see John Wick. I wanted to take my daughter to see Scream because she's like obsessed with Jenna Ortega now after Wednesday. And I guess Jenna Ortega's in that. But I haven't had a time to go to the movie theater. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, I've had times where I could have, but there's been games I'd rather be playing. So, like Diablo, I could have went this weekend, but I've been playing so much damn Diablo, right? Jay Rembert with a $2 super chat. Appreciate you, Jay Rembert. Said, you hear about the Game Pass promotion is gone. Yeah, we're going to get into that. And that's maybe a little part of what a hint about some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about. Ray White says probably going to be the family Game Pass or the Ubisoft Plus, if anything, this week, and some more jabs at the FTC. Well, so let's just kind of get into this. You started this off, Jay Rembert, with that super chat, so I appreciate you. Don Sicario. Whew, don't even. I got to get the negativity out of my mind right now about the Mavericks, dude. Y'all, I'm a huge Mavericks fan. Ship sinking. The Mavs ship is sinking right now. And yeah, I just I can't even go there. But thanks for hanging out, Don Sicario. He said, "What's going on with those Mavs? Is Luka leaving? I don't freaking know, man. It's crazy." But oh yeah, you see this, right? I'm in pain still from the last 2 games. 3-Bit says playing Diablo at the moment. What's up, dude? What's up, 3-Bit? Yeah, I started the Necromancer class earlier today. I've level 25 the Druid and I level 25 the Sorcerer. So I was doing a little bit of Necro today. I got to tell you, the Necromancer, I felt like I wasn't even playing the game. Like, it was just like so OP out the gate. Like, you just walk around and your skeletons just destroy everything. Right. And even like with the A ability, I forget what it was, the decompose thing. I was just holding the button down. It was just sucking the life out of everybody so fast. It was crazy. I was just holding the A button. It was crazy. It was crazy. It's just crazy OP. But it was kind of fun. I just don't feel like I was even hardly playing the game. I think the Druid, for what it's worth, was like a slower start class. But once you got deeper into that class, it had some amazing possibilities and was really fun to play. So far, my favorite has been the Sorcerer. Because that Chain Lightning. Once you get that Chain Lightning up there, it's so beast. Yeah, I had the Corpse Explode. I didn't choose it. I could have. I went and chose the other one. All the Sorcerer abilities seem so OP, though. I mean, the Necromancer. I mean, I don't think it even matters what you choose. I think it's just, that's the way it is. But anyway, yeah, like I said, sorry, sidetracked. Let's get into this. Yeah, today, Xbox and Microsoft has confirmed that the $1 entry fee for Game Pass is no longer there. So if you want to sign up to Game Pass now, you got to pay for it, right? You got to Game Pass Ultimate. You got to get the $14.99, or you got to do, Xbox Live Gold plus the $9.99 Game Pass subscription. So I feel like things are happening, and this is just one small piece. Like, I was already thinking this beforehand because of a tweet that was made last week, and I'm gonna try and bring that tweet up if I can find it. It was from a head of Microsoft Communications, and I may not be able to find it because it was we talked about it on Friday's show. But it was from a head of Microsoft Communications, and he put out basically like a tweet saying to all the media outlets out there, saying, "Hey, media outlets, if you've been sick of writing articles about Microsoft and Xbox and all these things the last few weeks, I'm sorry to tell you, the next couple weeks are going to be heavy. Like, meaning there's something happening, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be with Xbox. It could be something with Microsoft. You know, they've had a lot of news going on with the chat, GBT stuff or whatever it's called, with Bing and the search engine and all these things going on. There's lots of different things happening within Microsoft. So, you know, as the head of communications for Microsoft, he might have been alluding to something else, not regarding Xbox. But then I kind of think about what all the articles have been mostly about the last several weeks. There's been mostly ABK talk, right? It's been mostly ABK, Activision Blizzard stuff regarding the acquisition, the CMA, FTC, EC, all these things with the huge news happening last week on Friday regarding the 180 of the CMA and their softening on the stance of PlayStation, pretty much saying that PlayStation is irrelevant to the whole discussion now, and they're just focusing on the cloud remedies for Microsoft, which Microsoft's been at the forefront, getting ahead of that ball game as well, which Microsoft's been a step ahead this whole way, even correcting the CMA with their math problems, which the CMA has agreed, hey, they were wrong. And that's one of the reasons they've done this 180. It's interesting here. But there's a lot of other things that have happened too. There is a Twitter user, and it's not the snitch, but it is, let's see. I shared it earlier today or yesterday. It's script leaks R6 at script leaks R6. It just goes with the user name script. And basically what this person does is they look for stuff in like websites and all these things to release information regarding, you know, regarding news. And this person said Ubisoft Plus launches Xbox mid-April, right? So if that's the case, then if Ubisoft Plus is launching in mid-April, we also have combined that with what the head of Microsoft Communications said with basically there's news happening, so big media is going to be sharing this stuff quite a bit, right? Shout out to Pong Soul. Pong's watching, obviously, because he's got my back. Because he shared the fucking tweet. Thanks, Pong. Dude, you're amazing, bro. Always on top of the game. Frank Shaw. This is what Frank Shaw said. He said, currently lead communications for Microsoft. Okay, so this is what his role is. And he said, hate to break it to the reporters who cover Microsoft, who are a bit tired after the last 2 weeks, but next week is coming and we're not slowing down. Right? So that even alludes to this coming week, right? Because he clearly says next week is coming and we're not slowing down. So Microsoft news is coming this week. Pretty much is what he's saying. And this is Microsoft, its current lead communications, right? Obviously, like I said, the last several weeks I've been talking ABK stuff. So we can allude to the fact that there's news coming from Microsoft, right? Now you combine that with the script leaks tweet about Ubisoft Plus, okay, saying that it looks like from the script on the website, looks like mid-April, okay? So if that's happening in mid-April, if that rumor is true, take it with a grain of salt because I'm not familiar with the track record of this person. I just saw people sharing it. So with that being said, it looks like it's a possibility we could get an announcement maybe this week for Ubisoft Plus on Xbox and get like a release date of the service hitting, maybe get some information. Now you want to add to that as well. Today, with what happened, we got the $1 removal for Game Pass, right? Now, why would they do that? It's been there for like what, 7 years? When did Game Pass start? 2016, 2017? I can't remember. So it's been there 6 or 7 years for this $1 deal. So all of a sudden, randomly on a Sunday, they decide we're just going to get rid of that. News coming this week for Microsoft. Ubisoft Plus potentially hitting in April. All of this stuff is adding up. You see where I'm getting at, right? It's not just one thing. It's the culmination of multiple things. Also, timing wise, like I said, E3's in June. So if you're having things happen before then, it's time now to make these announcements, right? We already had the Redfall big thing underway with the previews, right? I think May is also going to be heavily on Redfall marketing as well with the game launching. So April is maybe some stuff's going to happen. Minecraft Legends happens in April as well. But besides that, I think that there's news regarding potentially the services within Game Pass. I made a tweet earlier today about them removing the $1 deal could be them getting ahead of the ABK acquisition because of some potential changes within the structure of Game Pass, or they don't want to offer that anymore because the cost of running this whole ship with all these games going to Game Pass is obviously more, right? They're going to have so many other games after ABK is acquired officially that's going to be launching into Game Pass day one. So maybe they don't want to offer the $1 deal anymore, or maybe it's because of restructuring of how they're doing some of the plans. Now, if you look at Ubisoft Plus, one thing we've always known is that Ubisoft Plus, as according to Ubisoft, is not part of Game Pass, but they never did say that you're not going to get some kind of deal or incentive. But that was also supposed to launch last year, and it's in late March now. So they didn't hit their target. So maybe something was happening behind the scenes between Ubisoft and Microsoft, and maybe things have changed. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. But Vexner3 hit us with an amazing $10 super chat. Thanks, Vexner, for that super chat. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for supporting the channel. And they say, as time goes on, cloud streaming latency res will improve. Native xCloud TV apps will be used over dedicated hardware. And eventually this will help VR progress, which is what I personally care about. That's some really good takes, honestly. We've talked a lot about that on this channel. If you're familiar with PM and the PM or Xbox Ultimate or even some of the stuff we've been talking about for a long time on this channel about the future of gaming and what's going to be happening. And, it's hard to predict the next 10 years, but if you look back at 10 years in the past and see the amount of change that's happened, you could assume that there's going to be at least that level of change, and which is very dynamic. With the cloud infrastructure being only for save files about 10 years ago, and on consoles now you can play games in the cloud. They're developing games in the cloud. 10 years from now, who knows what the cloud's going to be. But thanks for that. Thanks for that super chat. Appreciate you. So yeah, you guys smell what I'm putting down right now. You know what I mean? Like, combine these things, right? You got the head of marketing. You got the script leak person. Plus, you also have the $1 removal from their subscription entry price, right? So then we also have known another thing is happening soon, because insiders in all these different countries have now had access to a family plan within Xbox, which we've known was around $25 potentially per month for a family of 5 users. When they say family, they mean users, friends, and family. They pretty much say that anybody can use it. So that could be happening very well soon as well. And if you are to make changes to your subscription models and things like that, if there is potentially even a price increase or anything like that regarding Game Pass or removal of something like a $1 thing, I would think you would want the $1 entry fee. I would think you'd want to get ahead of the ABK deal, because you don't want to have the ABK deal close and then all of a sudden, hey, Game Pass is changing. All these things are changing, right? And it's either going to cost you a little bit more, or there's these different tiers now, or whatever, because people would look at it and be like, whoa, you're we liked it, the price and the way it was. But if you get ahead of it now, and I think they're confident that this deal's closing because of the CMA and all this stuff. If you get ahead of it now, you have a couple months now until this deal's closed. So it's like in the past, you got to think about the way these companies think with the marketing and the mindset and the mind share and trying to avoid bad press. This is why this randomly happened on a Sunday, right? And people got to confirm this. They did confirm it that the $1 deal is gone, and they said they're reevaluating basically how they're doing their deals, right? So I'm going to go to, I think Jez had shared this and The Verge originally today. Tom Warren about the whole $1 deal. I know Jez said he had confirmed it. Jez from Windows Central, that is. But yeah, Tom Warren from The Verge has said Microsoft has confirmed it has stopped its Game Pass $1 trial offer. It's now evaluating different marketing promotions for new members. Will we see Xbox Game Pass friends and family in more markets soon? So all these things, guys, like it's adding up. I think we're gonna potentially be in store for a big news Monday. Last couple Mondays have been a little weak, to be honest with you. There hasn't been a whole lot going on. When Xbox was in acquisition mode 2 years ago or whatever, Monday was like fire. It was like every Monday there was huge news. So what's going to happen? What is Frank Shaw talking about? I'm going to just assume it's regarding Xbox. I'm going to assume that the Microsoft community manager is talking about Xbox here because that's what's been dominating the news anyway. So there's a couple possibilities. It could be the Ubisoft Plus thing, which we already put out the smoke from that because of the rumor from the script leak person on Twitter. It could be the family plan. It could be both. It could be, well, we've been waiting to launch the family plan because we've been waiting for Ubisoft Plus, and we're going to have a different kind of tier system, kind of like what Amazon Prime maybe has on their subscriptions, where you subscribe to the main thing, then you add these different options to it, right? Or maybe they're looking at doing a different bundles or whatever within Game Pass. Removing the $1 trial and lead up to potentially news this coming week makes me think it's a possibility, right? So that's one option. Second option is we already have known for a while that Microsoft is still shopping. Now, it would be interesting. I don't know if they would announce anything until this deal's done. That would be crazy. But Phil said publicly to MSNBC or CNN or whoever he was interviewing with that they're not done, that they're still shopping. They're still looking out there for other companies, and they're going to take advantage of any opportunities that they feel is best fit for them. So based on the recent news from the CMA regarding PlayStation no longer being a primary concern, does that potentially open the doors for Microsoft to say, well, if you're not concerned about Call of Duty, well, maybe we can go ahead and pull the trigger and announce something else that we've been working on with maybe a private company, another private studio or a developer, or maybe they've been in talks with another publisher or something. Who knows exactly what that could be. It could be either a deal, a partnership thing that they've had in the past. They've had big news in the past regarding Sega and a cloud partnership. Could be something on the lines of that, or it could be something as like, hey, this company's games are going all into Game Pass. Maybe EA Play jumps up and puts EA Play Plus on Xbox as well, with Ubisoft Plus coming. There's lots of different options. Who knows what's going to happen? But it leads to lots of possibilities, right? And that's what fun speculation is all about. Let's get to some people in the chat here. Pong had said, "Hey, Lurkin, chat, awesome to see you all, gamers." And he says to Mav, to me, no problem, bro. Hey, appreciate you hitting me up with that, Pong, because trying to do this and look for these tweets and stuff can be problematic at times. The Sousa says, I'm kind of over Ubisoft games, but I guess it's good for Game Pass. It would be amazing for Game Pass. So let's look at that, right? What would Ubisoft Plus coming to Xbox mean for us as gamers? Well, Ubisoft Plus, if it's all in its entirety, what you get out of Ubisoft Plus is you get all the new games. You get the I think they even have a premium tier of that. I don't know what's all coming to the console. But they even have a premium tier of that where you get all of the expansion, like all of the extra content, like the season pass type stuff, and all of that kind of things. So that would be pretty impressive. Now there's supposed to be an Assassin's Creed game hitting this year, Assassin's Creed Mirage. Skull and Bones could still happen. There's an Avatar game coming at some point. Let's see what else is there from Ubisoft coming soon. We just had Anno 1800 hit on consoles. That's a game that could be in there right away as well. So for me, when I'm looking at it, okay, if it's around $15 or less, if you have a Game Pass subscription, maybe they give a discount. Is there incentive enough for us as gamers to subscribe to Game Pass Plus and Ubisoft Plus? For me, I say yes, because if I look at Anno 1800, even alone, what's that game like $40 right now? I think maybe 50. I don't know the price 100%, but that pays for like 3 months alone, just in that one game. So if we have more games coming around the horizon, that still opens that up for me. Maybe there's other Ubisoft games that I didn't buy the expansions for in the past, or any of that. I think that we could get a lot of these things that we haven't played yet, right? Or that maybe you missed out on one Ubisoft game or this or that. But for me, I think Ubisoft has enough in their pipeline to warrant the cost, right? Now, it's not going to be for everybody. That's the issue when you have like lone publisher type subscription services, because it's like they don't have as many games in development as like a first party studio or publisher like Microsoft, when they also have ZeniMax Bethesda and they have as soon ABK, right? But even with, if you add up Anno 1800, which I'm going to buy if it doesn't happen, I'm going to wait a few weeks to see what happens with that. But Anno 1800 plus Assassin's Creed Mirage and whatever else they have, that's alone for me, that's enough for the rest of this year to make it worth it for me. But with the other stuff that you get out of it as well, right? So I would get it. I don't know if it would be for everybody, but it's also going to be depending on the implementation of it and the pricing structure, right? Like, how much is it going to cost? Are you going to get a discount or a deal if you're a Game Pass subscriber? Because you already get a lot of Ubisoft games in Game Pass right now. You know what I mean? So it's like they're already kind of using the Game Pass subscription in a way. So paying for 2 subscriptions kind of like doubles up on some of those games. So maybe they're able, because of the deal they have with Microsoft, to offer it for less than they do on PC. Just a hypothetical, right? Weiss says, I'm not adding Ubisoft. Yeah, I get it. A Fire Boss says, no interest in Ubi for me. I've been very critical of Ubisoft the last couple of years. I think that they have let me down in several ways, to be honest. And I think they've let a lot of us down with their way they're just dicking around with their games a lot. Like, aren't putting out content enough in the past year and a half or so. They've been reworking titles in the back end, like all these free to play live service type things that they don't really know what they're doing. But at some point, these games got to drop, right? Assassin's Creed, there's so much good stuff on the pipeline. They do have Splinter Cell reboot in the works, which I'm super happy that's happening. But there's a lot of things still to like with Ubisoft. I just got some criticisms for how they've been managing their business the last couple of years. But this could be good for them. If Ubisoft Plus hits on Xbox, it could be a boost for them, right? Maybe you get a flood of subscriptions. That means more cash for them, right? Which they need. They need desperately. They need an influx. They need a more consistent revenue because they've been struggling. They've been struggling pretty good. Fulgore says, Ubisoft is not good right now. Yeah, I agree. I got to say, Anno 1800, the console implementation on that game is fucking really good. Now, it's not the easiest of access strategy game on there, but it is really impressive. If you haven't tried Anno 1800, if you like city builders, if you like strategy games, I recommend giving it a go. They had a 7-day free play trial when the game launched on consoles. I took advantage of that, and it was really impressive. So I will be buying it either way. What's up, Omi Tony? How's it going? RSJ fan said it would be a good deal for Game Pass. Michipu says, let's see. I missed the first part of that. Let's see. Almost 100% Origins. Just got to clear a couple regions of the map. So almost 100% Origins. Origins was one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. It's my favorite of the new era of Assassin's Creed, right? I kind of like have a Assassin's Creed pre-Black Flag and a post-Black Flag, right? Well, actually, I'll say pre-Origins and post-Origins, because there was a couple of other games after Black Flag that didn't quite hit. But Origins, then you have Odyssey, and then you have Valhalla, right? That's a different style of Assassin's Creed game than in the past. Mirage is supposed to stay true more to the old style. It's supposed to be more stealth, I believe. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that's one of they've been kind of selling it as. Dova says, I liked Odyssey more than Origins. Yeah, Sousa says, Midnight Suns is free play days right now. If you have not played Midnight Suns, if you like tactics games, if you like superhero games, if you like Marvel, give Midnight Suns a try. Don't let the card-based thing throw you off. That game has an amazing story. The tactics behind the gameplay is solid. The loop of gameplay you go through that game is amazing. It's one of my favorite games to launch last year. It might be my favorite game to launch last year. Absolutely amazing. And not enough people have played it because, you know, it's a tactics game, card-based stuff in it as well. So it kind of got some negativity before launch around that. Originally, when I saw the card-based stuff, I was like, I'm gonna keep my eye on it. And then the more they started promoting the game, like we turned around on it. We were like, okay, this looks awesome, right? This looks awesome. The more they showed, we completely flipped back and we're like, we got hyped for it. Several of us, like Pong Soul and me, Jasper, other people within our community had been playing it, and I absolutely fucking love it. Lord Cognito is like trying to sell this game like crazy. He's on Twitter talking about this game every day. I agree with Lord Cognito. It's an amazing game. Dova says, am I wearing a Mav shirt? MFFL? Yeah, bro. MFFL. A sad one right now. Things ain't going well. Things ain't going well, bro. MFFL means Mavs fan for life, everybody. It's like a Mavs fan thing. It started around the Mark Cuban era. What up, Vic? How's it going, dude? Dova says, yeah, we're not doing good. Yeah, we ain't doing good right now. Yeah, Susan says, I can't believe that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 stayed Switch exclusive. Such a shame. It is. That game would be so good if it was on other platforms, but it is what it is. El Greco 17 said, I just pre-ordered Redfall. So excited to play that on a PC. Nice. Your PC player is excited for Redfall and you pre-ordered it. That's amazing. I'm not like, oh, I'm so excited for Redfall, but like, it looks pretty damn cool and I'm excited to play it. Would I have been day one to buy it either way? I don't know. Right? But I'm super happy that a kind of game like this is, to me, a wild card that looks pretty damn awesome, but I'll still have questions about, is coming to Game Pass day one, because that takes the question away from me. It just means, hey, for me, it looks interesting. It looks kind of exciting. I'm going to dive in, see what it's all about, see if it's going to grab me. And I think for the most part, out of those previews we saw last week, it's been mostly positive stuff. There's been some questions. There's been some hit or miss type comments regarding some of the systems in the game and stuff. But overall, I feel like there's more positivity after those previews last week. But overall, I don't think that whole event did a whole lot for the game, because I feel like whatever people saw, if they had already been kind of sold on it, they saw more of what they liked. If they weren't interested in it, then they saw more of what they weren't interested in, right? So it was kind of an interesting event that I don't think moved the needle for them in the way they did it. But I think we're going to see a lot more in the next month because they got a whole nother month of marketing here. Is there is there a chance that sometimes we see games too much before they come out? Like for Redfall example, I mean, man, we've seen so much of this game for so long now. Like it was announced not at this past E3, but at the E3 before that, at the amazing E3, right? And it was their big reveal at the end of the show. Then since then we've already had numerous other dev things where they've had articles, either that or we've seen like dev diary type things and reveals and gameplay, and then more gameplay and more trailers and more gameplay, more trailers, more gameplay. And then they have this event. And I just feel like for the most part, the people that are excited for Redfall are like excited for it, and the people that aren't. And we just got to play the game and let the game speak for itself. And that's going to determine where the hype goes. Is there such thing as over marketing, right? Because sometimes like, I feel like it can set like expectations of like, this is a huge deal, right? Whereas opposed to Hi-Fi Rush came out of nowhere and everybody loved it, right? But I don't know. I think they're doing a good job of marketing the game. I just feel like I keep seeing the same things over and over again for it. And I just want to play the game, right? Like, I don't know. That being said, if they had as many updates for Starfield as they had for Redfall, I would be all over that shit. So maybe it's just because like where your excitement level is over a game, whether you're as interested in seeing all those little details or not. I just don't know if if Redfall's as deep enough to show all these things and keep going in depth into it. Where does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like this bit Suicide Squad kills his Justice League in the ass too, because they showed it several times and then they finally had their big gameplay reveal and people were like, oh, not excited for that anymore. And now there's delayed. But Redfall's coming out May 2nd. It's either going to be a huge hit or it's going to be a game that people play and kind of move on past. We'll see. Jason said, I just noticed Mav is on a Sunday. Yeah, I'm here hanging out. Thanks to everybody hanging out with me right now. Harry Bossack says 37 days until Redfall. It's 37 days. We also have Ghostwire Tokyo hitting in April as well. I forget the date of that, but you got 2 games from Bethesda hitting in Game Pass this next few weeks, or within the next 6 weeks, right? So that's pretty good. And plus, you also have Starfield later this year. They had that Doom mobile game hit. So that's an MX Bethesda acquisition. People say, why does Xbox buy these publishers? It's doing wonders for them right now. Could you imagine this year, everybody, if Xbox had not acquired ZeniMax Bethesda for Xbox first party? We'd just be talking about Forza Motorsport and Age of Empires and Minecraft Legends. I wouldn't hit the same, right? I'm fucking pumped for Forza Motorsport. 412 for Ghostwire Tokyo Pong. Right on. Minecraft Legends, I think, is like the 18th as well. So we got a fucking busy 6 weeks of games coming out. Really, it doesn't end there though, because you talk about June. Is there not a busy time between now and October? Looking at the schedule ahead for games, I know we're getting off track over the main topic, but that's okay. We're just shooting the shit, right? It's crazy. Think about this. Like, so in the next few weeks, we're getting Minecraft Legends, we're getting MLB The Show, we're getting Ghostwire Ghostwire Tokyo, and we're getting um, Redfall. Those are all hitting in Game Pass. And then you talk about just the other games, right? In June, there's Street Fighter 6, Diablo, which, oh my God. Oh my God. Diablo is amazing. That's going to be up there for Game of the Year, 100%. Then we had, already we had Wo Long just this month. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So you have Street Fighter 6, you have Diablo, Jedi Survivor is coming out around. I forget the release date for Jedi Survivor, but it's not too far away from there as well. ShaneG reminds me of The Last Case of Benedict Fox is in April. There's a lot of hype around that game. So those are all happening, right? Jedi Survivor, like I said, you just had Resident Evil 4 Remake hit, which is people are blown away by it as well. Leading up to September, when we potentially have Spider-Man 2 and Starfield. My God, is there a break within gaming greatness between now and September or October, really? Because we're gonna be playing the shit out of at least I am Starfield. Like, it's insane. Jedi Survivor, what's that date? Is that 4/28? Is that Jedi Survivor, Phasma? In April? Jedi Survivor's in April? Damn. Really? That's sooner than I even thought. Could you imagine Suicide Squad kill the Justice League? Yeah, April 28th. Wow. Could you imagine Suicide Squad kill the Justice League trying to launch in June against Diablo? Yeah. Maybe it was smart for them to move, right? I don't know when they're moving to, but we'll see. I think they said at least a few months, probably. I don't know. Street Fighter 6 is in June. Well, Exo Primal is launching in Game Pass day one around this time as well, which they had a beta last weekend. That was amazing. A lot of people had fun with it. I don't know how much legs this game's going to have, but man, it ran flawlessly and we had a blast, right? So yeah, Jedi, so y'all are confirming again, like I just saw. Yeah, Jedi Survivors 4/28. Dude, this is like the most insane year. We said this year was going to be crazy because 2022 kind of sucked. I mean, it was still fun. There's still lots of stuff to play, but this year compared to 2022 is like on another level. Like it shouldn't. I mean, it would be like it doesn't belong in the same league, right? This year for games is absolutely insane. By this time last year, all people were playing as Elden Ring. That was pretty much it. Stalker 2 may still happen this year. They're saying it is. We'll see. Yeah, I see talking about that. It's insane. Then not to mention the regular games that we get every year. You know, you have your big releases that always do crazy numbers, like NBA 2K will be later this year, and you have your Maddens and FIFA or whatever they call it this year, and all those kind of games are still happening, right? Forza Motorsport for me, I think maybe like right after Starfield next month, probably maybe October. Like I said, guys, it doesn't end. And you know what is crazy is they still keep announcing games. At Future Games Show, I saw 2 other games I was interested in playing that are coming to console that are within the next 2 months. I don't understand how this is possible. How can we have a year like 2022 and then all of a sudden it's just like everything under the sun wants to release all the same year? It's crazy. So much amazingness happening so soon. But yeah, let's get back on point. Sorry. 2023 is blowing my mind right now. News is happening. I can feel it. Do you guys have that sense? Does anybody else have that gut feeling that we're getting this announcement of some kind this coming week, either regarding like gaming subscriptions or some other kind of big news regarding Xbox? I feel like Ubisoft Plus, it could be the family plan. It could be some other kind of deal with some other publisher. Maybe Capcom. Maybe what if they did a deal with Capcom, right? Maybe not even an acquisition, but maybe if you can't acquire one of these Japanese publishers, maybe you announce some kind of other stronger partnership. We've already seen with Capcom just in the last couple of months now, we've have Exoprimals hitting Game Pass day one, and we already had Monster Hunter Rise. So the relationship there is getting stronger again. You smell it, 3-bit? Yeah, the Susa says maybe the streaming box. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that discless Xbox Series X people were talking about potentially. If that was to launch this year at some point, you could maybe announce that. Maybe you announce it with a Starfield console, like a Starfield special edition of that console. That'd be crazy. Maybe there's got to be a reason there's still not as many Series X's on shelves. Like they've got to be thinking something or planning something. I see everybody in the chat keep talking about Atomic Heart. What are we talking about? Atomic Heart. It's Atomic. I don't see anybody else talking about Atomic Heart. Dova said Dev Studio is being delayed in 2022 because of COVID and dropping their games in 2023. You're not surprised, to be honest. Yeah, I hear you. It's just, like we kind of anticipated at some point the floodgates would open, right? But to this year being this glorious as it is, I still didn't see that coming. Like I figured we'd get to like a normal cadence, right? But to have this dumping of awesomeness, and it's not just because of the amount of games; it's the quality has been on point too. I mean, you have games like Hogwarts Legacy that people didn't know how it was going to be great or whatever. Like caught the world by storm, scored well, people love it. You have the Dead Space remake did crazy. You have the Resident Evil 4 remake did really good. Hi-Fi Rush came out of nowhere. Age of Empires 2 on consoles is amazing. Just thing after thing after thing, right? Like, Wolong is really good as well. Like, there's so much stuff. Omatoni says, to me, 2023 is synonymous with the best jersey, number 23 in sports. Will be the best year in modern gaming. That's interesting. That's a good thought. The GOAT, Jordan, 2023 synonymous with gaming. Let's go. So, do we think that let's give it to Ubisoft Plus, because that's the best bet. I feel like with the script leak rumor on Twitter, the person saying that Ubisoft Plus coming to Xbox in mid-April. That leaves only a few weeks before it launches. So if that happens, would they announce it ahead of time, or would they announce it like right away? Like, hey, sign up today to Ubisoft Plus on console. Or would they announce it like a few weeks in advance? That's one thing I'm curious about to the chat. And I'm undecided on that, because part of me says you want to build up hype for it. Part of me says that that's kind of something you just drop and announce it instantly. But that's also something if you did that instantly, you'd usually have a gaming event to make that big of an announcement. So without the gaming event, with that many eyes on it, is that a reason maybe they go ahead and announce it a few weeks early? Right? Shout out to Tony Grasso. How's it going? ShaneG says, I hope they let Game Pass Ultimate members get it for only $10 a month. I think it could be a possibility, right? Because like I said earlier, if you're a subscriber to Game Pass right now, you already have a lot of Ubisoft games in there that Microsoft is paying them for. So maybe that allows them to do Ubisoft Plus on console at a lower price than they do currently on PC. Or maybe an add-on tier, which would maybe make a restructuring of how they sell the subscription, or have the subscriptions for Game Pass offered, launching in tandem with the family plan. Because you don't want to shake things up too much. right? You don't want to make one big change and then make another big change. So if you've been working with Ubisoft on this for a long time, like it was probably earlier than this last year when we found out that Ubisoft Plus was coming to Xbox. That's been a long time since then and now. So obviously we've been working on stuff, right? So with all of that, do we think that they're potentially changing like to a tiered system? And that may be a reason why they're getting rid of the $1 fees, the $1 entry point, because of some kind of restructuring of how people are going to sign up. And they said they're looking and reevaluating like new deals for new members. But maybe that'll be like, hey, new members get a month of Ubisoft Plus for free. Or new members get a trial for this. Maybe Game Pass is like the base subscription, or Game Pass Ultimate turns into the base subscription for everything, right? Maybe they also decide, hey, at this point, let's get rid of Xbox Live Gold. Like, we can't have all these different fucking tiers all over the place. So, like, at some point, I think there's like a restructure of it, and that becomes the new baseline for the future of what we see with these other subscription services going to be hitting Xbox in the future. Will they allow other storefronts as well? With Microsoft going and making 10-year licensing deals, which I think that's one thing, real quick. I think that's one thing that's also a safe bet. They already said that the next few weeks are announcing more 10-year licensing deals for their games. So if that's the case, what places do we see them? I say Amazon Luna was big on that list. And if you're talking about news that's going to kind of dominate the space for a little while, that could be another one. You say 10-year licensing deal for Xbox games to be played on Amazon Luna. That you're talking about Amazon and Xbox and Microsoft working together there, right? That'd be crazy. So what if in the future now, with Xbox talking about all this open ecosystem stuff, they allow other storefronts onto their ecosystem as well on their platform? Because it's almost contradictory to say, hey, we're going to allow us to be on everybody else's, but not allow other people's on theirs. If they want to put their money where their mouth is with that, they got to come to that level at some point. It depends on who's willing or wanting to go that route. And that's a very interesting thing to think about with the whole open storefront app. I mean, they can't be going after Apple saying you have a closed ecosystem and then maintain a closed ecosystem, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like that could potentially change in the future, but we'll see. Who knows? But regarding Ubisoft Plus, let's say you have your tier, right? $14.99 just encompasses everything. To get rid of Xbox Live Gold, right? It's just you sign up to Game Pass. It's $14.99 or $9.99 for Game Pass, or $14.99 for Game Pass Ultimate, and then you can add on additional subscriptions. Like I said earlier, you can with Amazon Prime right now. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can go there, get a free trial for HBO Max, get a free trial for this, get a free trial for that. Sign up for this, sign up for that. So what if, Game Pass is the entry point, the base subscription, and then you have all these different options you can start adding on, and or not. I feel like that's where the future is. But you can't just keep making these little changes all the time. At some point, you've got to restructure the base of it to make it more future-proof for all this stuff. And if we know Ubisoft Plus is happening soon, we know that these 10-year licensing deals are all happening where the games are going to be sold in all these other storefronts. We know that the $1 deal is just removed. That's where my mind's going with this. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to be announced. But with that Twitter account from Frank Shaw, a Microsoft head of communications, saying that this next week, be prepared for more news. And then today, the day before leading up to that, we have the removal of the $1 deal. Puts my mind in this area. You know what I mean? Froggy says Amazon is different. All other cloud services have not dev games too. I think I know what you mean there, but the thing is that within Amazon Prime, you have your base Amazon Prime account. So think of that as like Game Pass, Ultimate, or Game Pass, or whatever, right? And then when you go into Amazon Prime, you have the option to, if you want to watch this, add on a subscription for HBO Max. Or if you want to watch this, add on a subscription for Showtime. If you want to watch this, add on a subscription for Paramount. Add on a subscription for this, add on a subscription for that. And a lot of those have free trials with them. You know what I mean? So all of those other platforms have their own content, like HBO's WB Discovery, right? And they're the ones making the content and putting the content in there, or they're paying for the content to be in that. But you have subscription tiers and services offered within a service. And I feel like that could be where Game Pass and where Xbox and Microsoft is going in the future of this. Because if you already have EA Play, which is the first one to do that, where you could subscribe to Game Pass and then you had EA Play separate. But then what they did is Game Pass Ultimate, where you have the cloud plus EA Play plus Xbox Live Gold, right? So I don't think they can afford to just keep cramming everything into Game Pass Ultimate, all these other publishers. I mean, you're talking about publishers that want to do their own platforms and their own storefronts, their own subscription services. You can't just force all that into Game Pass Ultimate like you did with EA Play. But maybe you have an avenue for EA to do EA Play Plus for an additional, with maybe a free trial, or like Ubisoft Plus to do an additional with maybe a free trial, right? And all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? I kind of feel like that. And then plus, with the news of that family plan potentially happening soon, that would open up the time frame on why we haven't had the announcement of the family plan, plus also the Ubisoft Plus stuff coming, all happening within a certain time period. So anyway, that's one thing. Then the other thing would be some kind of acquisition announcement or a partnership. And then the other thing is the more safe choice. The safest choice is obviously 10-year licensing deals, but who knows who it would be with. And Amazon Luna could be one of those cloud service platforms that you could do a deal with, because that was listed by the CMA, as well as some other cloud platforms. And we know that they said other ones were coming, but I think Amazon's going to be the biggest name to drop if it happens. It'd be crazy. It's going to be an interesting, regardless of, think about this too, guys. Regardless of all the games happening, which we just talked about, this insane 2023 that we're having, just full of fucking games, amazing games, big games, great games, polished games, betas that take the world by storm even. I mean, has there ever been a beta played more than Diablo 4? I don't know. I mean, it's been crazy. I mean, with the amount of hours, maybe the Call of Duty betas and stuff like that. Diablo 4 has been the talk of the town. And that game's happening this year too. But besides all these games, you still have the ABK stuff happening. And when that actually closes, that's going to be so much news regarding Microsoft and Game Pass and everything. This year's nuts. 55 plus hours for you in Diablo 4, Boba. Did you hit 25 on all the classes, or what classes did you go 25 on? I hit 25 on Druid, and I hit 25 on Sorcerer. And I might play some more tonight a little bit. I don't know. ShaneG says there will be layoffs after ABK deal. That's how mergers work. Also, Game Pass Ultimate will go up in price. So they are adding insane content, and subs go up. So get those two outrages out now. I won't be outraged if there's a Game Pass price subscription. they've been underpriced for what we're getting for so long with Game Pass. Um, I think they can afford probably to keep it the same price, but it all depends on the amount of subscribers they get. The more subscribers they get, the easier it is to maintain a price because you have more revenue coming in, right? And the other aspect of Game Pass is you're also making money within the games. It's not just the subscription price. You're getting money off the monetization from the games that are in there, and people can still buy the games, and people still buy games even with Game Pass. So there's lots of things with Game Pass that's different than a traditional like streaming service like a Netflix or whatever. But I think there's going to be um, at some point definitely a price increase. With the amount of value that we get every month for Game Pass, I won't be surprised if there's like a $2 or $3 increase at some point. However, will they do that before the ABK deal is announced or after? I think it would be almost a wrong move to announce an increase right after the ABK deal is done. And it also they may have to make some kind of concession or remedy that they're going to maintain price uh, point for a certain amount of time. That may be one of the concessions that they have to make. I don't know. We'll see. They haven't really talked about that too much, but sometimes pricing does come into effect when it comes into the remedies or concessions that you make with these regulators. And even though that PlayStation is no longer a concern, and the subscription service is no longer a concern, the that still could be something that's on the table. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to come down to it or not. The deal's getting done one way or another, but I am curious about the way the pricing is going to work for Game Pass. But if you are to restructure things, I think you do it before the deal's closed. I don't think you wait till after. I think you do it ahead of time. Um, that would make more sense. Hence why one of the reasons maybe they're getting rid of that $1 trial right now. Right. What do you guys what's your bet? Is my nose off? Is my speculation crazy? Are we getting big new Xbox news this week, everybody? I just want to see yeses or nos in the chat. Is there big Xbox news this week? Big news usually seems on a Monday. I don't want to see any maybes. I want to say yeses or no. 3-bit says yes. Go with your gut. Bledsoe says yep. Def Leppard says yes. Spider-Man with a maybe. Come on. That's weak sauce. Go one way or the other. Nighturnal says yes. RSJ says I hope we do. Rayoid says yes. Sure. Big news. Sousa says yes. Banjo. A banjo. Would that move the needle? Maybe it's a game announcement. Maybe it's a Game Pass Day 1 game on a big title, right? It'd be crazy. You know, we know that at some point this year, Mortal Kombat 12 is getting announced. Wouldn't it be crazy if that was a huge announcement reveal tomorrow and they said it's coming to Game Pass Day 1 just randomly? That'd be fucking great. I don't think it's happening, but that would be crazy. Dicky says no. Well, there's a no. Tony Grasso says no. You guys are being fair. That's fine. We can't have all yeses. Il Rey Tito says my speculation seems about right. Topaz Girl says yes. Rayoid says another Shadow Drop. Wow. If they drop 2 big Shadow Drop games in the same year, that'd be fucking crazy. Lanzo says Scalebound trailer. 3-bit says this speculation is fun. Yeah, this is what it's all about, right? Trying to guess exciting news. Muslim Shmeek says yes. ShaneG says no, but something minor though. So my thing to that, ShaneG, why I don't think it's something minor. I it could be something minor, but what I'm thinking, why I don't think it is something minor, is because why would the Microsoft Communications director or head of communications at Microsoft say what he said? And again, I'm going to read it. And shout out again, and thanks to Pong for sending this earlier. It says, I hate to break it to the reporters who cover Microsoft, who are a bit tired after the last 2 weeks, but next week is coming and we're not slowing down. Now, the interesting thing is Pong also screenshotted this and shared it to me. Somebody had asked, will it be a continuous news loop? And then Frank X Shaw says, updated in real time. What does that mean? Updated in real time. Does that mean there's a lot of news this coming week? Pong, I know you're lurking, bro. What do you think that means, dude? I'm like, that's just crazy. So Frank Shaw, again, who is the currently lead communications from Microsoft. Okay, that's his title. Lead communications from Microsoft. Again, he said, hate to break it to the reporters who are a bit tired after the last 2 weeks, but next week is coming and we're not slowing down, with a smiley face. Then somebody says, will it be a continuous news loop? And then he says, updated in real time. I don't know. That just doesn't seem like small unless it's like a flurry of small things. I mean, that seems like it could be like something big and maybe some small things. I don't know what that means. Froggy says, sounds like a decent sized news beat. Yeah. I don't know, guys. ShaneG says, we live in a gaming bubble. He's probably talking about ChatGPT. I don't think people realize how big that is. I said that to start the stream, that he could have just been talking about that stuff because that's been the talk of the town the last couple weeks. So it could be that. But also the talk of the town has been the ABK and the CMA and the EC, FTC, and all that kind of stuff. And all these 10-year licensing deals that they've been announcing. Most of their big announcements have been regarding that kind of stuff. They've been making a lot of ChatGPT stuff as well, but I really feel like this is probably on the Xbox side. We'll see. Ray always says, Jez, where are you? Phasma's a more of a wait and see player. Yeah. If Spider-Man says 50-50. I'm curious. But then again, when I added that up, Shane, to the leaker, and his name is Script Leaks. I like I said earlier, guys, I don't know the track record of this person. This was tweeted out, a quote tweeted by Idle Sloth earlier today. Okay. And this was from a tweet back on March 21st. So this Ubisoft, the Script Leaks R6 said Ubisoft Plus launches for Xbox mid-April. This Script Leaks person doesn't seem like they only focus on Xbox stuff. They focus mainly on all kinds of gaming things. And I don't know the track record, right? I don't know the track record. So I don't know how much salt there is on that. But I would think that's not the most far-fetched thing. And if he's pulling it from websites, there could be a possibility that it's true. Now, again, this is a heavy rumor, truck assault, right? But if you add that up to the Frank Shaw's tweet, also today, the removal of the $1 deal, I think things are happening. Shane says I could definitely see a Ubisoft announcement this week, but I don't think that's what Shaw talking about. This is going to be huge Microsoft news. Right on. Pong said, I think Microsoft news from different. They are currently engaged in a forefront war. Gaming, search engine, mobile, and cloud. I think he meant they will be releasing news as it happens, especially more cloud deals, Ubisoft Plus, etc. Yeah. So what level would mean big for you guys? You think Ubisoft Plus release date and maybe announcements of stuff of the way it's going to work is a thing? What do we make of on a random Sunday that dollar deal being gone? Potentially before you make these kind of announcements. You're making big announcements with your subscription services soon. Maybe you have set in place the new standard. Yeah, family plan could be coming as well, Pong said. Yeah, like I think there was some interesting things happening. 3-Bit says maybe the announcement is a deal with Nintendo. They've already made a deal with Nintendo. But maybe you mean like Game Pass going to Nintendo? They made a deal with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo for 10 years already. Once that deal's done. Harry Boss X says, makes sense Game Pass tiers would change before Minecraft and Redfall. Or before Ubisoft Plus. It's Xbox Family Plan being announced, Samuel. That could be it. Lots of possibilities here. But it smells something cooking. The Sousa says Jim Ryan is joining Xbox, removing the $1 deal and charging for upgrades now. That's Jim's infiltrated Xbox, and it's all gonna go downhill now. We're all gonna get fucked with the like director's cuts. Halo Infinite director's cut. State of Decay 2 director's cut. Sup Tom from Toonami, how's it going? Sup Sanchez MTZ Gaming, how's it going? Talos Re, just going to a quick shout out to the chat. Everybody here hanging out. Good night, Phasma. Have a good night. Bloodso, shout out to you. Michi Poo, shout out to you. Ed Enzo, how's it going? Thank you all for watching tonight on a random Sunday night stream. Yeah, like this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, get that feeling in your gut, right? Pong, do you have a gut feeling that something's happening this week? Or am I reaching? Pong will be honest with me. Is this a reach? Because last year, we did the same thing, Pong. I put out the nose. I did the smell thing. People thought I was trying to claim I was an insider. I said it was not. It was just speculation. It's almost a year. It's been almost a year. I've got the same feelings now. Last year, we were on the money. There was a shit ton of stuff that happened right away. And I feel like stuff's about to happen again. Hold on, everybody. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'll be right back. Oh, shit. There you go. Hey, welcome back. Sorry about that. Sometimes fatherly duty calls, and have to do what I got to do. had to help my daughter get down the hall because she just watched or played a scary game or something. So now she's afraid to walk down the hall because the lights were off. So anyway, time for her to get to bed. Anyway, But yes, let's get back to this. Phil Spencer's team came from E3-bit. You think Phil's onto us? Pong says, don't think I'm wrong. Microsoft, Xbox have a lot going on. And last month, I mean, be honest with you, like, besides the typical ABK stuff, the last few weeks, it hasn't been heavy with Xbox news, right? It's mostly been ABK things and stuff like that. And really since the Dev Direct that we had in February. Was it in February or no, late January? Since the Dev Direct in late January, we really haven't had like huge Xbox news except for ABK stuff, right? There's been some cool things here and there. Like last week, I mean, you had like the Hellblade 2 showed up, right? You had to talk about Redfall, all these things. So there's definitely things happening, but they haven't made like a huge announcement of any kind or a big announcement of any kind regarding stuff within their subscriptions or games or whatever. Since then, we've had the Redfall preview event, but I feel like with April around the corner too, we have a couple of games hitting: Ghostwire Tokyo, Minecraft Legends, all this stuff. I feel like the time is now to make an announcement because there'll be a lot of stuff to play and do before June. This is the perfect spot right now. A little window. And after the CMA 180 that would just happened, the positivity heading there, it just makes sense, right? Pong says if they are now wrapping up ABK and are confident behind the scenes, there is stuff they need to get out before E3. Phil said they had locked in on the June showcase, so anything not included. Yeah. Which could be Ubisoft Plus, could be Family Plan, could be any other games announced for Game Pass coming that are surprises. It could be potentially another game announcement that randomly, who knows, man? Like Bethesda sometimes doesn't announces games not on Xbox's schedule too. Like they don't necessarily wait for things, to announce stuff. There could be something regarding Bethesda that they feel like they're ready to announce something. So maybe it's something that regarding maybe we're completely off the mark here, and it could be something completely that we're not thinking about. Regarding something. I would think for the most part, like logically, if they had a big new game announcement and if it was releasing after June, that they would wait till E3 to showcase it, right? But let's say maybe they have too much to announce. Maybe they have too much to announce. I don't know. Corey C. What up, Mav? Pong was right. Diablo consumed my whole weekend. Never played Druid and ended up maxing one out pretty much. I had to bend the knee and give Pong his due. God damn it, he was right. Banger. That it has anything to do with Luna, he says. No love lost there. Amazon and Microsoft are not on friendly terms. Too much, by the way, but you never know. But would Luna, if Microsoft wanted to just throw it out there, hey, we're doing deals with everybody right now. Do you want us to sell Call of Duty on your fucking platform? Do you think you think Amazon turns them down? I don't. Samuel says, I wish they would give us news on Avowed. Oh my God. My dream for next week, this is not going to happen. My dream for next week, hey, surprise, mini little extra showcase regarding games coming out in 2024 and beyond. Updates on Perfect Dark, Fable, Avowed, State of Decay 3. That ain't happening, but that would be amazing. Shout out to J Mac. What's up, J Mac? I see you, bro. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, Corey says I expect Luna to get there too, especially from Microsoft. Froggy says Amazon is a big future competitor. Amazon plans on making games too. Amazon is publishing Tomb Raider. Amazon's getting into publishing business on multiple platforms, not just PC, not just Luna. Yeah, Amazon's changing the game. We talked about this last year. There's also another game that was a PC style game that was announced. I can't remember the fucking game what it was, but it was before the Tomb Raider announcement. But it was announced as coming to consoles. And I thought we were on one of our shows, and I remember me and like Pong and Jasper and the rest of us talked about it. It's like this is a game changer for Amazon. It's something they hadn't done before, because Amazon before had just done like their co-publishing stuff with like bringing like some of the Nexon games over and stuff like that, like Lost World and things like that, and they've been focusing primarily on Luna. But when they had, and I forget the name, I forget what the game was, but they announced this other game was being published by Amazon, and it was coming to consoles, and I was like, whoa, what is that? That's different. That changes the game. And then it wasn't but a few weeks later that we found out Amazon was publishing Tomb Raider. So they're getting their feet wet more than just with Luna. They're really trying to step in and figure things out. Pong says mutually beneficial partnership between Amazon and Microsoft can happen despite their differences. Luna just announced launching in EU. Would make sense for both. Yeah, and if Microsoft's willing to put Call of Duty on all these different platforms, and they say they want to bring Call of Duty everywhere, like why not take advantage of Luna? You know, I mean, you're at that point you're just selling it on the service, right? I don't think they're offering it in the subscription. I think you're offering people to buy the game and play it on Luna's cloud platform, probably. So this just means more places for people to play. It'd be not much different than the other services, well, albeit they're a lot smaller. The Ubisoft and Boosteroid and all that kind of stuff. But they also NVIDIA GeForce are doing it with them too, right? So I mean, if Amazon would allow it, which I don't see why not, I think that's a possibility. But that would be the bigger of the announcements regarding the 10-year licensing deals. Or maybe PlayStation came to their senses. PlayStation's maybe Jim got on his knees this past week. It's like, sir, Phil, I have to speak to you, Phil. I apologize. I was rash in my decisions. We would really actually like you to maybe guarantee Call of Duty for 10 years on PlayStation. Is that still on the table, Phil? Good old Phil? My best old buddy, old Cheerio Phil? Could I please still have Call of Duty, you think, maybe, sir? Please. More Call of Duty, sir. Please. Phil? More, please. Please, Phil? 10 years? Guarantee, Phil? Maybe. Maybe good old Jim Ryan took his dick out of the glory hole at the CMA and realized it wasn't working. Pulled his pants up. Decided to go sit down and sign that 10-year contract that Brad Smith's carrying around in his pocket. I don't know. Tony Grasso says, God, how did I land Caitlin? I don't know. I don't know, man. That's a good one. That's a good question. I ask myself that every day. I'm not sure. But I'm lucky. I sure as hell am lucky. But yeah, I feel like Jim is like maybe having some regrets. Maybe he's having some regrets. Maybe he decided to bend the knee. Maybe he's decided that, you know what, like, let's try and get this done. What was it, like 2 weeks ago that Microsoft came out and said, we're currently not having any discussions with Sony regarding Call of Duty. The CMA now says that it's irrelevant if whatever you do with Call of Duty. We see that it doesn't make sense for you to take it off of PlayStation, so we don't think you're going to. But like, maybe since Sony knows they don't really have anything to gain now or lose. Like, maybe it's like, well, shit, we'll try and get what we can now. I don't know. I mean, they have no leverage anymore. 3-bit ass. Harry Bossek says, Mav don't land girls, girls land Mav. Thanks. I appreciate that. 3-bit says, do I think they get the full deal still? I think they get the same deal that they're offering everybody else. I think that that's what they're willing to do. Now, is that deal as good as they would have been willing to do for PlayStation before? Because I think before, PlayStation had a little bit more leverage. I think Jim and Sony, they had more leverage. Right? Now their leverage is gone. So we talked about this weeks ago, and we said, now's the time, Sony, if you want to try and strike and get the most out of this deal that Microsoft's trying to offer you, you need to sit down at the negotiating table and take it. Because if the CMA ends up approving this, then you have no leverage. We said that on our shows. I don't know if anybody of you remember listening to us talk about this. They had lost all leverage at that point. If they had been willing to sit down and talk and try and hash out a deal at the time, they may have potentially been able to get something sweeter in the pot. I don't know if it's like regarding how much of the the 30% fee or whatever. You know how it goes with the games distribution stuff. Like if you're on another platform, they get 30% or whatever from the store, and all that kind of stuff. So who knows if maybe they were going to, maybe PlayStation could have sweetened their end of the deal a little bit. Maybe they could have asked for like, hey, we want it in PlayStation Plus, or maybe they could have said that like, well, we want a guarantee on content parity for sure regarding like all that kind of stuff. I mean, who knows exactly, but I feel like PlayStation was in a better position if they had come to the table before the CMA's 180 to get maybe something sweeter than the rest of the people out there, because PlayStation was the main hurdle at the time. Right now, PlayStation is no hurdle to get this deal done. They're irrelevant. So their complaints or arguments mean nothing. Microsoft could decide not to send them a 10-year deal, and it still wouldn't change a thing. The CMA would just be like, well, we believe you're going to be putting the games on PlayStation because you have every reason to. That's pretty much what they're saying. So the concessions and stuff or the deal that they could have got may have been stronger. But at this point, I feel like it's probably just going to be around what everybody else gets. Maybe they shot themselves in the foot with that. I don't know. Everybody else is happy to take those 10 years, that deal for COD. But I didn't get it before, but I get it now. You're willing to put your games in there now on my streaming service? Yeah, let's go. People are happy about that. Nintendo's like, shit, on our next device, we can sell Call of Duty finally, make money on that, bring in all that microtransaction monetization revenue as well. Hell yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with PlayStation and Xbox and in this whole Call of Duty thing. I mean, the game's still going to go to PlayStation for sure. But regarding any kind of a deal, contract signed, maybe they don't even sign one, right? But I don't know. Like maybe Jim's like calling up Phil finally. Well, we tried, but you won. Corey says, is anyone else curious on what IP and games from Activision Blizzard are going to be multi-platform? Everything, or will there be some exclusive, at least new IP? I am in the belief that there will be some exclusives. I believe that most of the games that are big online service-based multi-platform games now are going to maintain that. But if new franchises happen, new games happen, or there are old IPs brought back from the dead, which we all know Phil Spencer was excited about that possibility before, when he talked about realizing Activision had Hexen and things like that. Also, Activision has like had True Crime. They also have Gun. They have Prototype, right? Who knows what they're all going to do? But one thing he said he wanted to do after the acquisition is final, which you can look at everything Microsoft said to this point, and everything's pretty much been in line with what they've said. So with Phil saying what he wanted to do is he was excited about meeting with the teams and talking to them and find out what they want to make, what they want to do. Is there a possibility we're going to get more games from Activision? Are they going to free up some of the studios to do other things? In that case, that means potentially more IP. It means more content. It means more games. And some of those, I think, are going to be exclusive. I think it's just the way it's going to be. And I think there's nothing that people are going to do about that. And they can cry about it later. But one thing I know is those games right now aren't in development for PlayStation because they don't exist. Everybody's just working on fucking Call of Duty. David Weinholt says, Sony's final card will be saying they refuse to put any Microsoft-owned Call of Duty on PlayStation. They will try to scare Microsoft at potential of losing billions a year. I believe Microsoft would be willing to call their bluff on it. And if that's the case, that would be bad for Sony. Because Sony makes a lot of money on Call of Duty. And if they do that, they also just proving that they've been lying their ass out to regulators this whole time. How's that going to look to all these regulators out there with all of Sony's complaints saying that we can't survive without Call of Duty? If you were to come out and say, well, we're not even going to put Call of Duty on our platform. We're going to allow you because you own it. They also contradicts like Minecraft is on PlayStation and all that kind of stuff as well. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening at all. Richard says, isn't there a Mass Effect type game in development for Activision? I remember hearing something about a rumor about something like that. I can't remember though for sure. Harry says, Sony's out of the picture. I'm not even worried about them stopping the merger now. Will Bat Compat come back after the deal is approved? I think so, Wilfrey. It depends on if there's enough there, because there's a lot of Activision stuff that's already Bat Compat, right? Like, there's already like a collection of games that are backwards compatible from Activision. But let's say there's some that they can bring back that they haven't done yet. Then maybe they look at that and tackle it. Because when they said that they're done with the program, it was because they kind of maxed out what they had the potential to do. If there's enough there to warrant them going back to it, I think they do. I don't know. I'd have to look at a list and see what ABK games are not backwards compatible. I don't think games like maybe if you own it already, but games like Spider-Man and stuff like that, they have like licensing issues. I think like games like Prototype and stuff like that. I don't know if Prototype's already back compat or not, but if it wasn't, you could maybe look at doing that. You know, those kind of games. There's other games that they could do back compat as well that they haven't done yet for some reason. There's also games that they could update that they haven't done for some reason, right? So I think it just depends on like they look at it like what is it worth for them to put the work in to do it. And if there's enough out there for the ABK stuff, I think they would. They did do that with some Bethesda things, I believe. Um, but the other question is like, how soon will things hit Game Pass? Will Diablo, by the time that the deal's done, will be done in time for Diablo to hit Game Pass? Right? When will Diablo hit Game Pass? That'd be huge. Let's say this deal actually closes in like May or something. You could potentially have. Well, when is the EC Remedy thing is like late May, so I don't think that the deal closes before then. I think maybe early June. What's Diablo's release date right now? Diablo's release date June 6th. I don't think there's any way Diablo hits Game Pass day one. I think the latest update on the EC remedies was, or the EC final decision was like May 27th or something like that. I can't remember the exact date. So you would have like, I mean, that's too. You got to, after the deal gets approved, you still have to go through all these things, and they have to like finalize and all this stuff. So I think by that point they will probably wait till the last minute with the FTC as well, and then close the deal right before the termination date of the contract that they have. So I'm guessing maybe Diablo hits Game Pass in like July or August. That would be my guess. So Chipmunk says May 22nd is the latest they can close before the 22nd. So after May 22nd, they will have the decision from the EC and the CMA by this point, as long as there's no more delays. So May 22nd, they have already said once they get remedies that are approved by the CMA and the EC, which by that time we should have that unless there's another delay. They take those concessions remedies and they propose those to the FTC. This is what they said they were going to do. If the FTC says no, we're still going to, we're still suing you. You know, we're gonna try and drag this out, and there's a hearing in August. Still, all that stuff that they are already talking about. Microsoft's already said that they're going to go ahead and close the deal by the termination date. So I think what happens is at the EC and the CMA, they propose those remedies to the FTC. That process takes maybe another few weeks up until whatever the termination date is. And if they don't have a deal done with the FTC by that time, they go ahead and close. So mid-June, around that time. This is probably why Microsoft said end of Q3 2023, because they knew it was probably going to lead up to the end of the termination date for the contract. I mean, they've been so spot on with everything. So by that time, Microsoft probably just closes right before the end of that termination date. And FTC takes them either to federal or they had already come to terms, one or the other. And at that point, that would be in mid-June or sometime. Then you basically have a month or two of closing the deal. I don't know how all that works and getting everything together and stuff. And then maybe your games hit Game Pass. I don't know. Wondering August. This year's Call of Duty may not even be in Game Pass either because of whatever deals they already had existing with Call of Duty. With Sony. Chipmunk says it's going to be wild if it closes fully before June 2023, like they said, after all the crap that has happened. Yeah, they will close without the FTC, but the FTC, they're still going to try and negotiate with the FTC so that way they don't have to deal with all the federal shit if they don't have to, I think. And they'll take it up until, I think, the termination date of the contract, which I don't remember the date of that. But I think it's in late June, early July, mid to late June, early July, within like that 3-week period, somewhere around there I think is when the contract termination date is. I put a tweet out the other day that has information on that from let's see. I got to look it up. This happened back in January. And I just tweeted that people were already forgetting this because the people had already forgot this. I can't even find my own tweets. Here we go. All right, so Microsoft, this was happened back in January. To prepare for the potential development to federal court, Microsoft and ABK have agreed to expedite the discovery schedule with the FTC due to the deal's termination date being July 18th. Okay, so July 18th, the deal's closed by then, right? July 18th is the last day that the deal will close. So July 17th or whatever. That may, unless they come to agreement with the FTC, then July 18th is the last day to close. Or the July 17th, maybe. I don't know how the contract works, whatever. So my thinking is they go ahead and just close at that time, unless they come to an agreement with the FTC before then. So you're maybe looking at like a early July closing, early to mid, before the 18th. Now it's possible after May 22nd, like you guys said in the chat, was the EC date. Maybe after the 22nd, they propose the things to the FTC. The FTC decides they don't have a case, and they said, okay, we're going to accept these. Maybe that takes a 2-week process or something, and that leads to June, right? But Microsoft has said in this tweet, or in this hearing before, that they will close. So let me continue reading this. It said, for reference, FTC's in-house trial is scheduled for August 2nd, and the FTC has yet to officially file an injunction to block the deal. Microsoft is still expecting to close the deal by the original termination date. And this also said, any potential remedy entered into the EC and CMA will also be offered to the FTC. The deal is undergoing review over in Europe and the UK, and we are hoping that they will be resolved. And if there are remedies that are appropriate, we can come back to the FTC to talk about a resolution. And this is from Beth Wilkinson, Microsoft's lead counsel. ABK and the FTC have agreed to an expedited discovery schedule so they can start requesting and inspecting documents in a shortened time period. But then Beth Wilkinson told Chappell, the administrative judge, that if a resolution isn't reached with the FTC, the deal will go forward and close after a remedy is reached in all pending jurisdictions, which means EC, CMA, etc. And we know that's happening by May 22nd. So maybe they go ahead and close after May 22nd if they don't reach an agreement by that time with the FTC. But the companies assume the FTC would go to federal court in that case. So basically, like Microsoft saying, "Hey, FTC, we're not going to let you hold up our deal. We're going to close regardless. And after we get everybody else's pending approvals and the remedies, we're going to offer them to you. If you don't like them, so what? We're going to close anyway. So either accept what everybody else accepted or nothing at all, right? And then we'll take us to federal, and then you'll lose, and then work it out that way. So maybe June, maybe in early June. I don't know. Anytime between early June and mid-July. But anyway, I think big news is happening this week. Good night, Pong. I see you heading out. And it's going to be an interesting week. More, I think, with CMA, again, talking about the cloud primarily, there's good reason to believe that some of this news this week is going to be 10-year deals with other cloud services, maybe Luna. And then also we can anticipate maybe something else happening in the next 2 weeks or so, maybe with Ubisoft Plus and maybe with the family plan from Xbox. I put out the reasons earlier in this stream and the reasons I thought that could potentially happen. But I'm curious in the comments below and everything. You guys smell what I smell. If you think the way I was thinking, and it's been a fun discussion. This is all about fun speculation. No inside information here. Just random thoughts about noticing things out there and trying to put, as Fuzzy Belvedere says, read the tea leaves, right? But everybody, you've been amazing tonight. You've been hanging out. You rock. Been over 100 people here for, what is it, going on, 1 hour and 45 minutes now. Just chatting about random Xbox stuff. But it's all been pretty amazing. So, shout out to Tom again, Chipmunk, Bledsoe, 3-Bit, Punk Soul, Boba Fett. You guys all amazing tonight. But I'm gonna get going, guys. I think it's midnight now. It's 12:03 a.m. my time, and it's time to get off. Maybe I can get in a little bit Diablo before bed, and go from there. So I hope you all have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed this stream. If you do like the content, again, hit the like button, share it out, subscribe to the channel. Hoping for a big news Monday, because we got a show tomorrow night. Fun Speculation Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with 3-Bit, Fuzzy Belvedere, Psychonauts, Jasper, a lot of the family hanging out, and we're going to be talking about maybe some news that happens tomorrow. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe this week, sometime. Smell it. Can you smell it? All right. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out. Gotta find my button. There it is. Peace.